Sophia Shanti Om with you, an intellectual drag queen who is curious and interested in knowledge, reason, well-being, and topics adjacent to these. Personal development and the discovery of the universe, in other words. Now, today we will continue covering the topic of 4 laws of logic. Last time we covered the first 2 laws of logic, and today we will be continuing with that. Before diving into the topic, however, just as I do usually, today too, I will sing for you first and invite you to name the song. This one should be easy as well. Let's go. You might recognize it from the very intro. Do we have who already guessed the title of the song? Just comment, okay? Yeah. I hope you hear it. I mean, the music is loud enough. From the day we arrive on the planet and blinking step into the sun, there's more to see than can ever be seen, more to do than can ever be done. There's far too much to take in here, more to find than can ever be found. But the sun rolling high through the sapphire sky keeps great and small on the endless round. It's the circle of life, and it moves us all through despair and hope, through faith and love, till we find our place on the path unwinding in the circle of life. Oh, okay, let's listen to the instrumental part as well. So sweet, so beautiful. Oh. Okay, my eyes are a little tearing. We had a neighbor. She was fond of this cartoon. This is from a cartoon, right? Do we have people who guessed from what cartoon is this? She would always cry when one of the key characters would be unalivened in the cartoon. So yeah, memories. All right, so I sang for you guys, and now let's continue with the laws of logic. I will first remind the first 2 laws of logic that we covered yesterday. Okay, number 1, the first law of logic is called the law of identity. And as I said, I sometimes like to explain it also as a verb to my students, the law of identification or correct identification. When you see something, an object, you want to identify it correctly. So something is, yeah, or A is A. So we covered it last time, so I won't go in it. Okay, for today. Into it, I mean. So the second law of logic, which is kind of stemming or is built on the first one, is the law of non-contradiction. These laws are super important. I can't say this enough. Just as software is installed on hardware like your smartphone, your laptop, if you want it to be operational and to be useful, you need a good, robust software with antivirus and so on. Your mind or your brain as a piece of hardware similarly requires uh, an operational system, so a framework or a paradigm. And these are the basics of a successful operational system. Okay. Oh, today I'm so tired. Yesterday we went to the Pride at West Hollywood. Oh, it was fantastic, but very tiring. All right. So the third law of logic, which we will cover today, although just for an example, to reinforce what we did last time. So the first law of logic, this is a cup. The second law of logic, this cup is not keyboard. Okay, just a very easy example. Those are the two laws of logic. The third law of logic is the law of the law of excluded middle. That law states that it's either A is A or A is B or A is non-A. And both cannot be true at the same time. So let's read how Google's helper Gemini puts it. For every statement, either it is true or it is false, and there is no third possibility. For example, either it is snowing is true or it is false. There is no middle ground. Again and again, in politics, in religion, they love stating that, oh no, it's fake. It's both at the same time. It is snowing and it is not snowing at the same time in the same universe, you know? This is the way of the corruption. This is the way of manipulation and dogmas and dogmatic thinking, be it religious, be it political, be it philosophical. Dogmatic thinking is built on the premise, on the idea that contradiction is fine. Actually, in some frameworks of thinking, they welcome contradiction, and they welcome an unresolved contradiction, which is like installing a good piece of hardware on your device and then also introducing a virus to that device and saying, well, virus is fine too. That will destroy your operational system. Or another example, when you're driving and you're pushing that gas button, you're increasing speed, would it make sense to also push on the stop button and simultaneously do both? That will destroy your car, right? So unresolved contradiction is like that. When you discover contradiction in something, well, that's good for you. It means you can think, but you need to explore that contradiction and resolve it. Unlike what I just said, in some schools of thought, especially when it comes to religion and politics, people adore leaving things the way they are, not resolving them, and it kind of destroys the systems at place. It can destroy democracy. it can harm the civilization, etc., etc. One very simple example. If we say crime should be punished, that's one statement. And then another statement, not every crime should be punished. There's contradiction. What do you mean? So is crime something that should be punished or not? And when we, hi guys, welcome. And when we introduce contradiction, and when we live in contradictions, we see that it destroys the system. So when some people are not punished, well, that's a challenge to justice, right? And then more people will be like, well, I could buy myself out from the justice system. Well, I could commit a crime and then be pardoned later. Well, I could commit a crime and having contacts, just avoid punishment altogether. So contradiction in ideology and in lifestyle means destruction. Okay? That's the thing. Another example of contradiction from religion, like Jesus was killed. So, again, that word, TikTok doesn't like it. Jesus was unalivened and then he got resurrected, but Jesus was 100% man. Well, if he was a man, men don't come back to life, right? So that's pure contradiction. Okay. As of today, we have no facts, regarding that, so that we can regard as contradiction. And it's just a form. In some cases, it's a form of brainwashing. In other cases, it's just corrupting your thinking. You are concluding consciously or unconsciously that thinking is not that reliable, because if I think A plus B equals C, someone comes and says, no, A plus B doesn't equal C, or it equals C and it equals D. Then reason and mind and intellect as tools become unreliable for you. And then you fall prey to those who want to manipulate you, who want to control you, who want to make laws for you and dictate you how to live, how to reproduce, what bathrooms to go to, etc. So that's the third law of logic. And the fourth law is principle of sufficient reason, meaning that for whatever you say, there should be enough evidence. Let's see how Google's Gemini puts it. Every state of affairs or truth has a reason or cause for being the way it is. In other words, there is a sufficient reason for everything. So yeah, this doesn't sound that simple. I'd say you need proof for everything. Well, proof or sufficient reason. And sufficient reason in some cases can be theoretical, instead of just, something that you can directly see or observe. Yeah. But you want, when you say something, let's say there's a flying invisible teapot that orbits the Earth. There is no sufficient reason for that. If you give more reasons, if you give more arguments, that would make, you could make sufficient reason for that statement. But as long as it's just one thing you're claiming and you cannot give enough data, reason, facts on the subject matter, then it's not sufficient. Okay? And it's your whims, your fears, your desires, but not the reality. Okay? So I think I gave you guys a lot of examples on how these things are being manipulated. by politicians, by religious people, and ideologically, philosophically, in everyday life. When people are not literate or educated, they can live in ignorance and harm themselves and people around them. So installing this uh, software into our minds, like to make our thinking robust and reliable, is a way of empowering ourselves. It is a way of making our lives more beautiful. Just as a flower needs some plan and some frame of being, yeah, and it goes through some process. Yeah, it's a seed. Then the seed knows when to sprout. Yeah, if the seed is stupid, it may sprout in the winter and get killed. Yeah, if the seed was stupid, it could sprout while it was on the table or somewhere inappropriate, and it would die. So life, I'd say, is intelligent. There is a lot of intelligence or smartness in life, and your mind and reason are like that too. And the more you work on them, the better you will make the quality of your own life. Okay. So finally, let's take yet another quote from Aristotle, and we will be done for today. Oh, this is short and unclear. Hope is a waking dream. Now this I wonder what in what sense dream is used in this case. Like dream when you fall asleep, or a dream like you dream of something. See, now we don't have the original, and I'm not sure of the translation, so I cannot really comment on this. Let me try and search it in other languages. So, hope is a dream. I will search it in, let's try Russian. I speak Russian also. Так, and see. Надежда — это мечта пробужденного человека. Oh no, this is Bing. Let's try Google. I need to switch my device's default search engine. Oh, it says Google's AI says this is not an Aristotle code, actually. Okay. No, I need to have Google as my default search engine. Aristotle quotes on Google. That was interesting. Oh, beautiful and practical. Happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. Ooh, I love this. I love this. I love this. Gay men to this, girls. Gay men. Happiness is the meaning and purpose of life. Okay? The whole aim and end of human existence. See, in some traditions, cultures, religions, and worldviews, they glorify suffering. Like, oh, Jesus suffered for us all, so, and suffering is unavoidable, so let's suffer. Let's thank our Creator through our own suffering. Yeah? Or it can be non-religious. People can say, look around, there's so much suffering. Suffering is unavoidable, so we all must suffer. Or they can go like, well, those poor children and those all poor people suffer, why shouldn't I suffer too? Altruistically. So yeah, it can show itself. It can manifest itself, that suffering worship in different ways. And this is so pure. This is so on point. So yeah, it's like diamond. Like, it's very concise and it's very transparent, visible, valuable. So I'll read it again for the third time. Happiness is the meaning and purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. Okay? So we exist to be happy. Why do we do things? Like, why do you go to work? Why do you learn a language? Why do you travel? Is it, well, I travel for traveling, or traveling makes you feel something? Through traveling, you do something, or you have a feeling of achieving something, you know? Why am I drinking this drink right now? Is it just for the sake of drinking? No, I want happiness, well-being, pleasure out of this. Why do I want to remain hydrated, healthy, to feel good, to be happy, both in the short run and in the long run? So I 100% agree with this philosophy, and actually, this is why I chose Aristotle to begin with, to quote, because his philosophy is very happiness centric. He even has a word he uses, eudaimonia. Ev means good, positive, or maybe in some traditions it could be translated as eudaimony, ev or u, depending on the language. So it's a state of happiness, a state of well-being. This is a concept brought forth by Aristotle, and there are few philosophers, historically speaking, throughout, especially throughout the ancient times and the Middle Ages, who were, giving similar ideas, like, yeah, enjoy life, be happy. There were other philosophers, but it was more or less rare, you know. So yeah, definitely I agree with Aristotle. And this makes me think of Ayn Rand as well, another philosopher who built her philosophy called objectivism based on Aristotle's ideology. So that was it for today. We discovered the 4 laws of logic, and I invite you guys to write down the names of those 4 laws of logic. If you don't remember the names, that's okay. Just give me something so that you don't just consume, you also produce. Thus you learn and you empower yourself and become the change that you want to see in your life. Okay? So yeah, and try to give me an example with anything. A remote, this remote, or a cup, a book, whatever. Just interpret something through the lens of the 4 laws of logic. Okay? That's it, and see you tomorrow. I'm not yet sure what we will cover tomorrow. Well, I have a course on personal development. I could take some topics from that course. And you guys, I invite you to also leave your comments. What would you like me to cover later during my lives? What topics, what subjects? Okay, what would you like to see me do more? Okay, so high five and see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.